Next up on Startup Daily, Daniel Pace and Shane Acorn are former Navy clearance divers, well aware of the dangers faced by people on the front line of defence, police and emergency services. They co-founded Invicta Prospects Group and developed software to match the qualifications and skills of people with the dangerous jobs that they have to undertake. And they're here in the studio right now to tell us more. Welcome to Startup Daily, guys.
Oh, thanks, Sam. Simon. Good
Shane, Daniel,
nice to meet you.
Great to have you both here. So you've got this thing called Buddy Suite Analytics. Take us through it. What does it do? How does it work? And how's it saving money as well as lives?
Yeah, definitely. So Dan and I, as you mentioned, are ex-Navy clearance divers. We're at work one day in the process of planning a military training activity, and we had a discussion around some of the inefficiencies that we found as bugbears during that planning process. Dan came to my house that afternoon and we sat down in front of a whiteboard and started to framework exactly what a solution could look like. And we developed it for one particular military application and activity. And as we started to build our prototype out, we realised that same framework could be picked up and applied across any activity conducted by the Australian military and also any military globally as well. So I guess that sort of evolved the solution as we started to prototype what it may look like. And Buddy Suite Analytics, as it is today, is actually a suite of planning applications for military activities with the goal of capturing information to create a data corpus, hence enabling artificial intelligence capability for more informed decision making.
Wow. And tell us about who is using this software. Did you sell it here in Australia first?
So at the moment, our primary target is the Australian Defence Force and global militaries. We're currently in discussions with the Australian Defence Force for them to trial the application with the intention of them implementing and rolling it out across the entire Defence Force. Given our background, we designed this that were pertinent to activities that we conducted within Defence. But it's a highly configurable solution that can be applied to any activity, any complex activity, regardless of whether you're working at heights or working in a confined space or shooting a weapon or parachuting. This tool can effectively capture data, streamline that planning process, conduct the risk assessments, and then use that data for foresight, for better decision making across the board, whether that's administrative or operational.
So Daniel, when you say capture the data, are we talking about the people involved in the mission and how they perform, what they do, and whether they're the right person for this particular task? You know, we all have training, but then we have pressure on top of that, and hopefully your training gets you through. Is that what you're looking to do, sort of to pick the absolute right person for the job? 100%.
That's the end state of what we're trying to achieve, is to enable better operational decision making. So at the moment, if a decision had to be made based on a personnel's experience, it's all based on what a supervisor may think of that individual and their performance. If that supervisor was replaced by somebody else and they had to make a short notice operational decision, they might not know the experience of the team and who they're sending in to do the job. So effectively having that data at the click of a button is far more effective than having it stored in paper logbooks as it currently is today.
Oh, wow, it's all still in logbooks.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Say no more.
So it sounds like safety is a major benefit, but if everything currently is done in paper logbooks, there must be huge cost and time efficiencies that people can gain from this.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dan and I have done some prelim numbers on what we think there can be gained in terms of productivity for the ADF. And the number that we've come to is 228 million in terms of productivity gain. And that allows for the fact that auditing will be streamlined. You can minimise time to be able to have to go in and find that information, like Dan touched on, rather than having to go back through multiple paper logbooks to make an informed operational decision. It will all be available at the click of a button through Buddy Suite Analytics.
I mean, I know for military spending sometimes that sounds like sort of beer money, but by the same token, this is also about keeping people safe as they go through these operations, isn't it? Just take us through how you sort of built this whole thing out and when you realised that you had an effective product.
Yeah, so Dan and I, throughout our careers, we were exposed to a lot of incidents, medical incidents, and military activities are inherently dangerous, whether it's diving, parachuting, shooting, fast roping, and these are just some of the activities that Buddy Suite Analytics can help with the planning and management for. But one of the key things that has driven mine and Dan's design of the system is making sure the ADF is a lot safer. And that's reflected through the system in terms of automated safety checks for individual qualifications and currency, as well as automated risk assessments throughout that planning process, and then also making data available for preventative measures around guys being exposed to high levels of blast and that type of thing throughout their careers. So there is an element to the system where we can use predictive analytics to identify guys who are at risk of injury or illness and use early intervention to prevent them crossing that threshold.
And Dan, what's the potential for this to be used across the police force, fire, other emergency services?
From our work with partner agencies, whether they're military or local law enforcement agencies as well, they seem to do things in a quite similar fashion to the Defence Force. So like any legacy organisation, there tends to be a mentality of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Defence is also very focused on doing what they need to do, which is protect Australia's interest. And that being the case, all the paperwork and administration that we use or that we were using whilst we were serving to manage these activities remained paper-based. There was no forethought, and there hasn't been up until recently into how can we improve this. And police, they suffer the same problems with their planning, their administration, same as our partner military forces as well. So I think there's a broad application, not only domestically but globally as well.
So boys, just before we call the mission over, you want to get the deal up with the ADF. What's the plan? You've bootstrapped until now, or what's your investment plan?
Yeah, we have. Yes. So we're bootstrapped through to where we are today. Dan and I have a submission pending with the Defence Innovation Hub, which is the body of funding organisation set up by the federal government to support innovative defence-related ideas such as body suite analytics. So we're progressing through that decision pipeline with the Innovation Hub, and we're hoping to have an answer from those guys in the next month or two around being able to fund the ADF trial.
Fingers crossed.
Wow,
what
good
an
luck
amazing
with it.
story. Guys, just absolutely brilliant. Sort of so thrilled to hear about what you're doing. Best of luck with it.
Thank you.
Hope it rolls out with the ADF, guys. If you're watching, think of all the money you could save. Spend on subs, planes, all sorts of gear. But keep people safe, most importantly. Thanks for coming in. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, yeah.